All right, our next debate tonight is Dr. Phil versus Dr. Dre. Yeah. And on the side of Dr. Phil, put your hands together for my good friend Brett Hiker, everybody. And on the side of Dr. Dre, she just appeared in the New Faces Finals of Comedy Works. Give it up for Alicia Jacobs, guys. And going first on the side of Dre, Alicia Jacobs.
Alright, it's Dre Day, motherfuckers. I'd just like to position myself as a Dr. Dre expert because back in the early 90s, I was dragging Maine in my hometown in a Dodge Aries listening to The Chronic on the average weekday, and I almost lost my B card to that album. But that fucking Busta could not find the hole. Alright, Dr. Dre and Dr. Phil have a lot in common. They both have a hefty white suburban fan base. The difference is Dr. Dre's white fans wish they were black, and Dr. Phil's white fans are terrified of black people. And they're literally hefty. Yeah. Both have dealt with numerous lawsuits. Both escaped the clutches of controlling overlords. Back in '96, Dr. Dre left Death Row Records, which was headed by Suge Knight, a notorious gangster. Similarly, Dr. Phil left the confines of the Harpo studio to begin his own show back in '02. You see, Oprah had him locked in a cage and forced him to pleasure her BFF, Gail. Yeah. The two good doctors are very, very different. And I think you'll find Dr. Dre far superior. For starters, Dr. Phil tells guests on his show to get real, but Dr. Dre always keeps it real. The badass gangster image Dr. Dre created in his NWA days is just an act. The real Andre Young is a quiet, hard-working father of 11. That's a true story, by the way. I looked into it. 11 fucking kids, okay? He's got it. He lives in a gated community outside LA. However, the overbearing, opinionated redneck that Dr. Phil portrays is 100% genuine. Dr. Dre chose not to take sides in the East Coast, West Coast rap feud. He included artists from both coasts on his tracks, whereas Dr. Phil was firmly East Coast, and he's still a person of interest in the Tupac Shakur case.
Right, I am a huge Dr. Phil fan, and I am very comfortable because there are no black people in the room. Dr. Phil, or as we call him, Dr. Ill, is fucking one of the best guys out there. A lot of people think he got his doctorate in psychology, but in actuality he had his doctorate in mixology for being a surgeon on the turntables, am I right? Word. At Death Row A&M. Dr. Dre is responsible for creating NWA, Death Row Records, The Chronic, also responsible for discovering Eminem, 50 Cent, and Snoop. That's what he brags about. Here's what he doesn't brag about creating. 2.5 Men, polio, income taxes, canker sores, the city of Thornton, the Star Wars prequels, Big G, and trans facts. Oh, and Dr. Dre, in a Rolling Stone interview a few years ago, his ex-wife revealed that he was a repeat abuser of not bringing back the Tupperware she packed his lunch in. I didn't want to go there, but I have. Oh, also, Dr. Dre has spent the last 10 years working on his next album, whereas this year, Dr. Phil is putting on his 5th album, Dr. Philanthropy's hippity hop music for black children.
All right, you guys. I have a few closing words for you. I'd like to point out for the record that Dr. Phil's words will be remembered as the whimsical snippets, like something from a hillbilly fortune cookie. All right, Dr. Dre's words live on forever. He continues recording them for your enjoyment. In fact, when I spoke to him earlier this week, he previewed a couple of his new tracks for me, You know, he's getting a little older. He's over 50 now. He's kind of retooling some of his works to reflect that. And, you know, I've got the exclusive on a couple new tracks, and if you don't mind, I'd like to lay them out for you. Rat-a-tat-tat, tat-a-tat like that. Nowadays I need Cialis for my gat. Rat-a-tat-tat, tat-a-tat like that. High cholesterol, now I'm getting fat. Calling 187 on your motherfucking hemorrhoids, biatch!
All right, I didn't want to come to this, but now I'm breaking out the big guns. Make sure you're sitting down. People, Dr. Dre? Not a doctor. Not a doctor. There was a kid, I don't know if you guys read this, got arrested in Florida a couple weeks ago for impersonating a physician. He's looking at 7 to 10 in Chino. Dr. Dre has been practicing medicine without a license for like 25 years now. That's just adequate. I was at a Dr. Dre concert back in '02, and a man in the crowd started choking. And I started screaming, is anyone in the house a doctor? Is there a doctor in the house? We all turned to Dr. Dre on stage. You know what he did? He shot the man. He shot him like a bad doctor would just let him die. A really bad doctor kills him. That's not something doctors do. I know a girl who works at Children's Hospital, and she flat out told me doctors rarely, if ever, shoot the kids. Like only if they're like horses or Hispanic. And with that in mind, now that we all know this, I just want to say, are you guys really going to put your vote for Physician's Assistant Dre?
All right, guys, keep it going for Brett and Alicia. I like how I got the two whitest people I know to do that debate, too, and just talk about hip-hop the whole time. That got super racist after a while, by the way. All right, guys, if you thought that Dr. Phil was the best, give it up for Brett Hiker, guys. And if you're on the side of Dr. Dre, put your hands together for Alicia Jacobs. Oh, looks like it was Dr. Phil, Brett Hiker. Now, high five. You made fun of a Hispanic kid on stage. In front of an all-white audience. Okay. Just because that one heckler won one debate does not mean that everybody gets to do it, all right? You gotta bring a butterscotch for one kid in the class, you gotta bring it for all the kids in the class, apparently. Because in that scenario of the joke, I was a substitute teacher.